Rob Bell Speaks.
It's been wild.
Yeah, but that's how it is in the world that you are in.
All right.
But I was thinking I could go ahead and shoot for it because I'm getting ready to just the world that you're in,
Right.
jumping right on in the
Right.
world that you're in, being a part of the Gate City Coalition,
Right.
and an activist in the community.
Right.
Just tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, that actually came about just me doing good deeds in the community when I was released from prison in 2016. I started giving back to my community, and it got just to the point where I did it more and more, and I just kept going. I didn't know why. I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe like it was a purpose, or a calling.
Yeah. So real quick, when you say understanding why, meaning why you decided to start giving back to the community?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
So
because that wasn't before 2016. You wasn't really into.
I wasn't into it as much. I have. Like before I went to prison, I did things, I was giving away, like I was doing things around Easter time, Christmas time. I always gave back to community cookouts, things of that sort.
Yeah.
But I more so got heavy with it. When I came home, I more so started really pouring into the community.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So it kind of went from that to someone taking notice to it. They took a notice to it and was like, look, you're already doing that. Why don't you come over here and let us help you? And that's how I got into that. And then I've already turned my life around. So, it's a violence prevention program.
Yeah.
So we try to prevent violence. So, me turning my life around, me being a part of that problem, now I'm a part of the solution. So it goes hand in hand.
Does that make that easier to get your message across, the fact that you have the background? You're not just someone who just talking,
Absolutely.
who read a book.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We call it a credible message.
Okay.
So when you become a credible messenger, that means you come from that type of environment, but you've turned your life around. So it's kind of easier to reach the people in that environment.
Yeah.
It makes it more relatable. You can relate to that community a lot better than someone from the outside looking in. And so, that makes me a credible messenger. So they may trust me a little more.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Because and your words are relatable. Like you say, you can speak on situations that they're relating to. Like, and they're like, this is what I did.
Absolutely.
And you're like, but now think about it this way.
Absolutely.
And because it's you telling them that, they're like, oh, this is just not some BS.
Right.
Like, okay.
This is somebody that was actually in it. He's
And
speaking from experience.
Yeah.
So that's a difference. When you speak from that experience standpoint, it means a lot more.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's why it's easier to reach, who we're trying to reach. Because they're like, man, if this dude turned his life around knowing his background, like,
Right.
maybe I can too. So,
Yeah.
it just helps the situation. The transition is smooth.
Yeah.
Now, how is your approach? If you're going into the community, are you just walking up to individuals, talking, telling the story, or do you
Depends on what community I'm in.
Okay.
I may reach out to someone I know from that community, if I don't know anyone in that community. But if I know the community, then that makes it a lot easier, of course, because it makes the icebreaker a lot better. You can already relate to me. You know me.
Yeah.
Right.
But, coming from the life I come from, I know a lot of people in those communities. So
Yeah.
it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Any pushback that you come across?
You're always going to get some pushback, sometimes, because some people don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have that.
Thinking that you want to hustle.
Thinking he ain't changed. Being who I was. You see what I'm saying? Like me being so deep. I get that, people just not believing, not buying into it. Like he hasn't changed that much, know. But I mean, I think that's a reflection of self. That's because you don't believe in your own,
Like that.
and changing. You don't believe in change that much. I mean, every human fears change. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because how do you know the unknown?
And that's we talk about that all the time.
You see what I'm saying?
That's the most difficult thing. And people get into their own way. They become their biggest obstacle because of that.
Absolutely.
Because it's the unknown. So it's easy. That's why when I was asking you about you having the background, and how relatable
Right.
you are to have those conversations is because to make that change and because it's unknown, then a lot of time people want to stick with what's familiar to them. They're like, because
Absolutely.
this is what I know.
It's more convenient.
Right. I know how this operates.
Right.
Even though I know it's not the best for me, I know how to maneuver in
Right.
these environments. And then you come along, you're like, yo, I know this is how
Right.
you operate and everything. He said, but then you could be like, look at me. And
Right.
look, this is what I came from. This is what I endured and everything. That's why I know. Because I know if I was out there like that and Tiffany come up talking,
Right.
I'm just like, you know what? It's just somebody else that's making their way
Yeah.
into our community
Right.
for the spotlight.
Well,
You know,
absolutely.
because maybe they're trying to be an alderman or
Absolutely.
you know, city council
Absolutely.
member. You know,
Absolutely.
and that's it. But then when you see someone, you're like, man, my brother used to kick it with him. You know, they
Right.
did this and they did now. It's like you got that, you know, and now that rap is like, okay. Because I would be more willing to listen to that. It's like my older brother, and not to get too far into my older brother who's in prison, we always talk in the conversations about him working with the community. And
Right.
that's one of the things I say to him. I'm like, you have such a better chance of getting your message across when you had these conversations than myself or someone else who hasn't walked that path and endured those things because it's not as relatable. Just because I know stories or because I have friends that have done this and done that and encountered these situations, you actually endured it. You
Right.
actually was in prison, not
Right.
jail, but prison.
Right.
So now those conversations, so that's why I know you having those conversations, like,
It's a connection.
yeah, and I applaud you for it
Absolutely. But
too.
and I appreciate that. But I think both is needed. Both perspectives are needed. You see what I'm saying? Because you may see something that I don't. You may know something that I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's needed because when you're on the outside looking in, you may be able to maneuver or see something that someone doesn't. If they're actually in the heat of the moment, they're not thinking clearly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just like, for instance, a sportscaster versus someone who actually played the game. You see what I'm saying? It's no difference. It's the same thing. So I see it from your perspective. But a
I like that.
sportscaster can give you a lot of insight,
Right. Even though they ain't played.
even though they haven't played the
Yeah.
game.
Right.
They
So both
studied it,
sides are
they haven't
needed.
played it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
But
But so, like with the sportscast and the athlete gives the sign off on the sportscaster,
Right.
the analyst.
Right.
The same way, if I come with you, you have to give the sign off to everybody. Like, yo, no, he's cool.
Right.
And then they're like, okay.
yeah.
Then now I can sit down.
Yeah.
And have a conversation. There might be, you know, you have to work your way into the conversation, but it's like you need someone to give you the sign off for
Man,
everyone
he
else
cool,
to be
man.
like,
He
And,
cool.
and yeah, that's what I think. Like, and because you're gonna be more relatable to the people in the community, so they're gonna trust your judgment a lot more
Mhm.
than an outsider just coming in and, hey, we don't know this person, we don't know this guy.
Mhm.
But the thing is, we're really just trying to save the people in the community. We're both trying. We have the same goal.
Yeah.
We're just taking different approaches. That's all it is. It's no
I like
different.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Well,
I'm sorry.
I-
Just the last thing. No, what was you about to say?
because you've been talking a lot.
No, but
No.
you made a statement. I want to say, could I have
You
my
remember-
question real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I can
Because he
remember.
likes it.
Yeah, he likes it. Okay, right, admit it.
Because I'm thinking about with the pushback you might get sometimes, and I'm not talking about the pushback from
But
those
the
that
conversations
you
he had with his brother, let me just state that. So
Yeah.
this is relatable to
Mhm.
that.
Very
so,
much.
Yeah, so
Very
that's
much.
why I understand.
So thank you. So when you having the conversations in the community and you get the pushback, not from those who are actually that are, let's say, creating the trouble in the
Right.
community, but those who have been quote unquote saying that they've positioned themselves to be a part of making it better.
Mhm.
And then you come along and you're like, you're more relatable and they're more willing to talk to you. Do you get pushback from those who have already been working and they're like, you just coming along and you walking right
Absolutely.
on in and they don't think that maybe you can be trustworthy and this and that?
Absolutely. You're gonna
And
get that.
how is that though? To
I mean,
deal
you're
with?
gonna get that. That's gonna happen. The
Yeah.
pushback is naturally gonna happen because, like, once again, people are not gonna believe you in the beginning. You know, some people are just gonna be like, "Oh, what is his agenda?
Yeah.
What is he trying to do? Or why is he doing it?" So you're gonna naturally get these things. You know, so you just maneuver how you have to. You know, every situation is a different course of action. You see what I'm saying? So every situation isn't the same. every pushback is the same. Some people are gonna have different reasons why they're pushing back, but you just have to, stick to your guns and just do what you need to do.
That's good. That's it's just like that'll be the head scratcher for me. Like it's like you in the community, you're trying to help and make a difference and change, and you're getting pushback from them.
Yeah.
As well as you still got to deal with the people in the community that's pushing back, and now the people that are supposed to be online with you to support you, they like, well, we don't know, especially because we're emotional creatures. We're prideful, we're jealous, animosity, all of those different things. They see you getting more movement and traction.
Yeah.
I can see where they're like, oh, look at this.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. Because I see you getting it done. I applaud you this year. You've been in the media a lot. I do want to say, when I hear you speak about self growth, that information that you kind of elaborate on, what was the tools or the resources that you used to change your mindset in a way that you're able to communicate it when you speak to other people?
I mean, just experiences.
Really? Okay.
For me, experience is the best teacher.
Okay.
Hands-on. Being hands-on. I mean, of course, I read books while I was in prison, know. That's what took me out of that element. That's what took me away from my reality while I was in prison.
And do you remember the authors of the books that what was the one that kind of stood out to you most?
You'd be surprised. Like, most people say like 48 Laws of Power, and I read that. Yeah. But it was another book that he came out with 50 Cent. It was called The 50th Law.
Robert Greene?
Yes, Robert Greene.
Okay.
So it was called The 50th Law.
Okay.
But The 50th Law was all about overcoming your fears. And that spoke volumes to me. I read a few Robert Greene books, and I think they were pretty interesting. But The 50th Law really stuck out to me because it's all about overcoming your fears.
And you said it was with 50 Cent?
Yes. 50 Cent and Robert Greene partnered together to make a book called The 50th Law.
Okay.
And it was all about overcoming your fears, like the entire book. And a lot of times, like I said, we fear change so much as humans.
Yeah.
And I had to overcome that fear, like, how people gonna look at me because I changed, but I didn't change necessarily. I just changed the way I thought.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That was really all it was. I just changed the way I looked at things.
Yeah, you grew.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The evolution of
absolutely
yourself. Yeah.
And I believe in evolution. Like, you have to evolve. In order to do anything on this earth, you have to evolve. You can't stay stagnant. You can't stay stuck in the same place. You're not gonna do anything. Like, if you just stay in that mind frame and stay in that mindset, you're gonna be stuck there. So you have to evolve. The world is evolving every day, and I feel like you have to as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
You're gonna keep up. And what is it that Einstein says? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over,
expecting different results.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not changing none of your habits. You're not changing your thoughts. You're not changing the way you approach things. But
Absolutely.
You're like, this should work out for me. But you're not doing nothing different.
Why isn't it working out?
Yeah.
You just you hitting your head on the wall a million times. You ain't busted through that brick wall yet.
Right.
Let's rethink it.
Yeah. But like that part of it. That's why when I was saying I applaud you, because the mindset to be able to change that, so you can take a different path than what you was taking before. It's like what we always talk about. It was like peeling back the layers, and being honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure you had to look in the mirror.
Oh man,
some things
that takes a lot. Actually, facing your flaws, facing your reality, facing who you are, facing who you were. Takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage. Really looking at yourself and really, just being honest. Takes a lot. And if you really want to change, it's going to take even more courage.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because you got to understand, it takes a lot.
Now, do you applaud yourself, take time to kind of look at your evolution and kind of sit in it and give yourself the okay? Because I do think that's important too. I think sometimes.
Definitely not as much as I should.
Okay.
I can honestly say that because I'm the type of person, I feel like once you start believing it, that's when you're going to start, being content. You see what I'm saying? Once you start believing that
drive.
Yeah, you're going to start losing that ambition a little more and more because you like, look at what I done achieved. So I try to keep going.
Mhm.
Like, but I'm just now getting to the point where I'm like, yo, you should be proud of yourself. Like,
Right, yeah.
How far you came.
Yeah.
Because, I'm going to elaborate on why I was locked up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was locked up for murder.
Mm-hmm.
But I got convicted of voluntary manslaughter. So I only ended up doing about 6 years. But that was like a defining moment. Like it showed me so much, like, and how much I needed to change.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yeah, you need to sit down. You need to rethink this.
Right.
You need to really look at what you got going on. And if you got a second chance at life, you need to really take heed to that.
That's right.
So, that really.
And how old was you at the time?
I got locked up when I was 24. I came home when I was 30.
How was the, because to me, I feel like this is big. And again, we talked about it, the relatability for me. How was your support while you was locked up?
I can honestly say I had a good support system. I can honestly say that. And that's probably what kept me sane, because in there, I'm telling you, I feel like it's designed to break you.
Yeah. I was going to say, was there any rehabilitation going on?
Man, it's designed to really break you.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Okay. Mentally.
And you have to have a strong mindset to keep going and to keep looking at the future. Because I'm telling you, it's designed to break you. It really is. And a lot of people, they never come back the same. I don't care if you do a day, you don't want to be locked up. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That does something on the mental that I don't think a lot of people will ever understand until you put into that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because like he said, the support, and then if you don't have support, it's really going to mess with you. That's why I thank God for my support system. Like I had an intact support system. I had people that, they didn't give up on me, and I appreciate them.
I love that.
But they saw, like, and I'm sure now when I say they saw, like they saw, that there were better things out there. So I'm sure now that looking at you, especially the fact that you're in the community,
right,
and you're changing the lives of those who were going down or potentially going down a path that might not have ended up well for them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like, because we grew up together, to give a little bit background, I was older, but
yes,
a little bit. Well,
it might not look that way, but it's
it was. Yeah, I remember, little Johnny and I, but
you threw out the name.
So I can remember. I just felt like it was high expectations for you guys. Right. Did you ever feel that it was high expectations for you?
Absolutely, I do. My father, and because I can honestly say yes, I was intelligent. I think my environment just influenced me a lot.
Absolutely, as it do.
Yeah. With everyone, they always talk about nurture versus nature.
Yeah.
So,
but I can say that the following of the neighborhood that we're from,
right.
Did you ever know that you was a leader in that community, even though you might have been leading in a negative direction at first?
I mean,
did you ever feel like you was kind of like the leader in
somewhat? Yes, I could see it. I had flashes of it. Because I've typically always been a leader. And like my older brother, like he was that guy. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I said it was high expectations.
It was very high. My brother was that guy. So to have him, and then so you got to understand, I had one brother that was that guy. Sports, academics, he was that guy. Yeah. So I really looked up to him. Yeah. But then I really looked up to my other brother who was that guy on the other end of the spectrum. Yeah. So I had two, and then my dad is just like, I just look up to him like he's amazing. I can't say enough good things about my father.
That's what's up.
Amazing, and I feel like I'm my dad all over again.
Wow.
Like I am. Maybe I was a little rougher, but yeah. Like the men I had in my life, they top tier. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that anything bad. Like my oldest brother, I looked up to him. He was popular, sports, went to college. Now the one after him now, he was popular too, but for other things. So, So I had both of those influences,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and, you know, my brothers, I really did look up to them a lot.
Okay.
And that's why I get why you say we had high expectations. We did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I kind of took a little bit from both of them, you know.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the three of you?
No,
No.
I got a little brother too. I have a baby brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such an interesting dynamic. And I do want to kind of dive into your father's background because he migrated from
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So I'm half Nigerian.
mhm.
My father's an immigrant from Nigeria. My mother was raised on a Native American reservation in South Dakota. So I'm half Native and I'm half Nigerian.
Man.
Right.
So
Oh.
you mix that up, you get me.
You
Right.
Yeah.
That is
Do you,
interesting.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Do you carry any of the traditions of your parents?
I mean, I
Did they
try
pass
to.
it on, or
I try to. You know, some things I try to.
okay?
You know, so I try to at least, you know, make my kids aware of where
Where
they
they-
come from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that not necessarily to use the word heavy, but was that mentioned when you were young throughout the household as far as your
I mean, I saw it, you know, because you
Okay.
got family from Nigeria that
okay.
don't really speak good English. You know, so you hear that. My dad to this day, as
Yeah.
you know, he has a strong accent.
Yes.
Still to this
And
day.
To this
he used to
day,
call
yeah.
me Stephanie.
Yeah, he could never pronounce her name. So never to this day, if he see her, he'll probably call her Stephanie. You know, but that was her name.
That was
Right.
my name. I didn't say nothing.
So let it be.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I see my uncles and them and their traditions from the native side as well.
Okay.
They were around a lot, so I saw that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was, you know, and then growing up where we grew up, it was an experience, you
Yeah.
know, like
Mhm, mhm.
so
Yeah.
we didn't have much family growing up though because of that. You know, our family is spread out so
Right.
far and wide
Right.
that, you know, we didn't have that big family that most people get to experience.
Y'all moved away and was
Right. So it's
cultivating
just
your own.
us, you
Right,
know, we
right.
building our own tribe.
Yeah,
You see
and
what I'm
talking about building your own tribe, I wanted to dive into Mud Brothers
saying? Absolutely.
because that is a tribe.
Yeah, it is.
How
It
did
is.
that come about? And that's your organization.
Yes. So Mud Brothers came about like me and childhood friends. We just
Okay.
trying to figure out what we're gonna do. That's the concept of it. We came out the mud together. So,
I like that.
and we basically started doing, we didn't know we were doing nonprofit work. We didn't understand that. We didn't know,
Right.
you know, we didn't know. But we were.
Yeah.
Ultimately, this is what we were doing. We didn't know that.
Mhm.
And it just came about. And then when I got with a nonprofit, it makes sense. Why not do your own? Why not do everything you wanted to do?
Mm.
And because originally it was just supposed to be a clothing line, but it blossomed into much more. you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's my baby. You know.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
definitely got to jump in all of that. But before we do, I just want to say, so with your friends, were your friends already in the community, or was it you kind of spearheading it and getting everyone aligned?
They wanted to give back. You know, we all had good intentions. We always, where we come from, like, it's when we were raised in that neighborhood, we were like family. Everyone was like family. So, you know, we always wanted to give back to this community. You know, maybe I took the initiative to do more, but they always wanted to give back as well.
Okay.
You know, I can't take that away from them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So absolutely, they wanted to do more, you know,
Okay.
and I appreciate them.
Yeah. It sounds like you were more the voice to kind of push it. And you
Probably
had-
so. You could say that.
Yeah.
You could say that.
And you had them supporting because, like you said, they wanted to be a part of it too. Now to jump back into, so you started with the clothing line. Is that how?
Yes. So that's initially what was the first plan, but it kind of just transformed into just so much more.
I feel like I remember seeing the T-shirts.
mhm.
Okay.
You did.
Okay.
You did. But yeah, so I went from that, and now I've basically created my own mentoring program. So Unity is the mentoring program.
Okay.
So Unity is an acronym, and it stands for Unity Needed in Today's Youth. So
Okay.
basically started that, and now we're doing sessions every week, and we're starting back up next week. So,
Okay.
and we take children in from 7 to 17. So we take 1 week, we do like problem solving skills, critical thinking. So we do that. But then the next week we turn around, we go into the gym to try to get them to do things that they want to do, maybe sports wise, especially like basketball or like, that's why I'm trying to get my brother involved with the football. Cause as you know, he made it very far with football.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get him to head the football side of things.
Man.
So, and then I have a professional boxer that he may come in, he may give some lessons, give some training. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to cultivate all of that and bring it all together.
That's good.
And remind me, before you leave, I have someone that helps in the community with MMA training.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
that would be good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on Meshach.
Mhm,
Right? Yeah.
mhm.
Okay.
That'd be good
Yeah.
for you.
He's good.
He's great.
Yeah.
And so you did Mud Brothers Unity.
Mhm.
I wanted to hone in on the events in the community that you've done with Mud Brothers. But
Okay.
I think the first event that I went to, you was giving back to the neighborhood Hickory Trails.
Yes.
So
Hickory Trails.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
where
where I'm
I'm from.
Ah, okay. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
And so,
Yeah.
how did you pull out? I mean, it was very impressive. By the way, I never told
appreciate
you. Great job, because I seen how you merged other organizations
Right.
to come together and
I
make
did.
it happen. So,
Oh.
was that your first event that you've done?
It wasn't my first one. It was the first one of that caliber. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Where I partnered with people. Because before, like I said, we were doing stuff in that neighborhood, but it wasn't really organized. It wasn't really, we were just, winging it. We didn't
Yeah.
really, plan on doing this for the long haul. It just happened.
Right.
But that's why
I love
reached-
that. That's what it makes it better.
Right.
That's
Right.
how it
So
be.
that's why I reached out to you.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh yeah, I love it. And I was like, hey, that's dope. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you came out and you saw how we put it together.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did a 4th of July event as well.
Yes.
That was great too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did a 4th of July event. I do back to school events every year.
Now, I know when you started off, let's get into funding and grant money, because for our community, it is the resources are out there, but we just kind of pull from our pocket sometimes to make it happen.
That's how I did starting off. It was everything out of pocket
Okay.
in the beginning.
In the beginning.
Until I got with Gay City Coalition.
Okay. And so
And-
they kind of gave you a blueprint of how to go about and receiving the grants for Mud Brothers.
No. So for Mud Brothers, no.
Okay.
For Gay City Coalition. So Mud Brothers became a sponsor of Gay City
Got
Coalition.
you. That's
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gay City Coalition already has a budget set aside for these type of events. So Mud Brothers basically comes in as a sponsor and sponsors these events, and Gay City Coalition is a sponsor of Mud Brothers. That's how we intertwine them.
Right. Okay. I like that.
Mhm.
And then I want to go and dive into your position with Gate City Coalition, because I think it's very interesting.
So I'm the outreach worker supervisor over the west side
Mhm.
of Greensboro. That's my position there.
And what program is it again?
It's the
cute.
violence prevention program.
Violence
So-
prevention.
So
Okay.
that's for Gay City Coalition. I'm the supervisor there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you to prevent the violence,
Yes.
I want to go into that as well, because I know you go in and you speak to them, but like I said before, is it a blueprint? It's for me. It's just like, how do you prevent
it's-
violence? Like, how? does that
because you want to
work?
reach them before they even think about it. You know what I'm saying? You want to connect with them on
Being
a level
proactive.
that being very proactive. So if they think about doing something, maybe they'll think about it. Let me call Juice before I do this, or let me, you know what I'm saying? So you want to create a relationship with them, so to speak. And that kind of, they'll call you. You on call all day if anything happens or about to happen. We are more so there for support. So they can call me at any time if they feel any type of way. And I'm just here to listen sometimes, a lot of times, or give advice, or, you'd be surprised how simple it really is, but how delicate it really is.
Right. So have you? I would like.
I'm not jumping in front of no bullets now. Listen.
Okay, wait. Yeah. I want to know like a scenario of if someone that you was assisting calls you and like I'm thinking about going and murking this dude over there at the east side.
Your job is to just talk him out of it.
Wow, and that happens though.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's a heavy position.
Yeah.
Thank you for your services, sir.
That's serious.
That's all I got to say.
Especially with, Greensboro shootings getting more and more.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's turning into like the North with
Man,
some of it.
it's
Surprisingly.
Mhm.
Like, man.
but that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, then what do you think the remedy is to have the minds of the youth not even be steered that way?
I think, like I said, more programs, you know what I'm saying? More resources, more things for them to do.
Right.
Because if they don't have nothing to do, then they have all this idle time.
They always say that young men with nothing to do, like during the summer, I can't tell you, we sitting around, nothing to do, and we just get into some shit.
Absolutely.
And just by luck, we don't get arrested or
Absolutely.
It's really like that.
Yeah.
It's just like we bored.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was getting into stuff
Yeah.
just because I was bored.
It's like that mind that, like you said, that idle mind is you don't have nothing to do and you're a child. So you're thinking as a child. You're not really thinking about
So now you're
the
going to look for
consequence.
stuff to get into.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You get bored. You don't have much to do. So you're going to find something to get into.
And when it's a group of you,
Right. It makes it work.
But with teenagers, it's different. The programs usually are geared towards, the K through, maybe K through 12, but I don't see a lot of programs in our neighborhoods for teenagers. Is that something that, Gate City Coalition will hone in on and try to implement more programs?
Yes, definitely.
For the teenagers?
As a whole, like, I think everyone should implement more programs geared towards teenagers because that's when you really need to reach them.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Not only Gate City, I think every program should,
Yeah. So I feel like the city of Greensboro could have more funding towards that area for a certain demographic.
Yeah.
If that makes
Absolutely.
sense, because the it is an economic divide, and so these students their parents might can't afford to put them in the programs that other teenagers are in.
And I'm sure stats shows those age groups, that teenage age group is the one that's
most important.
more violent, needs the more attention because it's, like John was saying, they're coming out of that age of 11, 12, they're stepping into middle school.
Right.
It's a big change, that 13, 14, especially for young men. You're feeling yourself.
Right.
You're going through puberty, that testosterone is hitting. And you're out there, you're playing sports, you're getting attention, you this and that. Not only you're getting good attention, you're getting bad attention.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you were talking about like with your brother, being popular and everything, I'm still sure he has some people hating because he's getting attention.
You're going to have that.
Yeah,
that's natural. You know what I'm saying?
So
that's going to happen. But that's why the Unity Mentoring Program is free.
Yeah.
I don't charge a fee.
Okay.
All you got to do is sign your kid up.
I like that. Yeah.
I don't charge
That
a fee
is
for that.
awesome.
Okay, so then let me. So I had a few questions while y'all were talking and going through. One was with the resources that it took before. So I know initially you say you were coming out of your own pocket,
Right?
And it's for you and your group that's with you and your organization. With that, how coming out of your own pocket before you started getting into the nonprofit and receiving money, was there any time where you're like, I'm about to stop this and go do something else? Because
I mean, you
you
remember
pulling out
when
of
I
your
said
money.
I didn't understand why?
okay,
I didn't understand why I was coming out of my pocket and why I cared so much.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand why. But as I kept going, I realized like maybe this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Maybe it's a reason behind all of this. And eventually, the call came through and it was like, look,
yeah.
we want to help you.
Yeah.
We want to put you in this position. You already do this type of work for free. So why you just don't come on over here and do it?
And they came to you. They reached out to you. See, that's the
Absolutely.
that means it was reaching beyond.
I didn't realize
Eyes
it
was all on you.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
because
yeah.
it was more than it was more people looking as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was like they made sure they got me before anybody else did. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because now you know you start to get noticed. When
You do,
know.
and let me go into that area about the politics of Greensboro, because
Hey, don't get this man in trouble.
no, I'm not, because I already had this conversation with him. You know, it's like as I, you know, my ears be to the streets in several different ways, and then I realized, oh, they getting ready to hit him up to be into the politics. So I need to know if he's already heard some stuff. And when I had came to you, you was like,
no, I didn't know. You know,
you didn't know yet.
I didn't know.
Okay, well, I mean, I knew it was
it
coming.
was news to me, but I mean, I kind of figured like eventually, you know, the stuff I'm doing is gonna get noticed.
Yeah.
But politics, man, sheesh,
That's a different type.
that's a different world,
Mhm.
you know. But I am sort of in politics, but politics, you know, politics is politics.
It is.
Yeah. They say it was, I can't think of who had the quote, but they was talking about it. It was someone who was like a big gangster or whatever. He talked about politics is way more like gritty
Listen,
than the streets.
Yeah, I agree. Politics is a cutthroat business, but if you could survive the streets, you can survive politics.
Yeah, that's how.
But you have to know that.
Yeah.
You got to know it before getting into this. You got to understand that. Look, this is, you know, it ain't what you. If you don't know, you're gonna find out.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why you know I kind of steered clear of politics. But you know the route I'm on. I mean, we'll see what the future
We'll
holds.
see. This is gonna be interesting.
and it's probably I'm thinking too as you're growing with you're getting noticed more and more. People want to, you know, as they say, get on your coattails,
align themselves,
right? Because they see where you know that they're not looking what's right here on the surface.
Right.
They looking on down the
They're
line.
looking
Like,
at
he's going to be able to do this and do that because they're already seeing what you're building now. So,
and I'm sure you're already experiencing people that's kind of coming out.
I see
goods, and
but
I know
you got
who's
that
genuine.
background with the streets.
know
Where
exactly.
you can
I know
see
who's
it in
genuine.
the
I play. You know, you got to play the game. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be in this business, you're gonna have to play that game.
Yeah.
And I can see who's genuine.
Isn't that amazing that you was just doing it from the
heart.
pool, the heart,
That's it.
and it just kind of catapulted you into different worlds. But that comes along with the call.
Mm-hmm.
You answered it, you know, and the responsibility of answering a call. A lot of people don't answer because of the responsibility.
Absolutely.
and not only that, you said something earlier about changing your mental state and all those things, because I truly believe like once you make that change, everything else starts to change and you maneuver differently throughout this world, regardless of where you at as far as, you know, geography and stuff. So whether you're here, whether you're Atlanta, New York, it doesn't matter. Once you change that mind state, now, like you said, all these things are happening for you, and you're still just being you.
That's it.
But you know, you've changed the way you process things and the way you approach things, and it's getting that attention.
Yeah,
and they're seeing it.
Not everybody is gonna think I'm the same. Some people are gonna look at it and think I've changed, but I'm really just being me.
Right.
That's it. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. Maybe I evolved
and that's
into this. You see what I'm saying? Maybe this is.
You should be able to.
Right.
Like, I always say, don't put me in a box. Don't.
Absolutely.
Because the man you were 10 years ago, you supposed to be that same man today.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
Right. So that's my thing.
Yeah.
Of course, y'all not the same person y'all were 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Yesterday.
Exactly. 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So you know,
yes.
that's what I say. Like he said, you can't confine yourself.
Nah.
Like, and with me, sitting in prison, I never saw this.
Right.
It just happened. I didn't plan this. This isn't a plan that I didn't write this up and say, oh, I'm going to be here and I'm going to be doing this. No, life just threw it at me and I just stepped up to the plate.
Now, do you ever think about telling your story as far as like in a book or in...
Absolutely.
You need,
absolutely.
Need to.
Yeah.
It's something coming soon.
All right.
It's definitely something coming soon.
And I know it is. I know it is.
Another question I had from earlier conversation, you were talking about working with other organizations once you got set up and everything.
Right.
How is that partnering with? Because you have a vision,
Mhm.
you have an approach
Yeah.
you want to take, but now you bring in other organizations who wants to, they say they want to give their support and they want to
Right.
help, but is there any challenges with keeping your vision?
Sometimes it depends on the situation because, some people, they may come in, they may want to take over the vision. They may see it a way,
Mhm.
and they may be so driven on the way they see it that they not realizing that, hey, this was my vision.
Right.
Like, y'all brought you in
Right.
here.
Right.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
But that's when you have a conversation, and I think
Okay.
that's the thing, we have to have these conversations because I believe
like that.
in making allies, not enemies.
Oh yeah, I like that too.
You know what I'm saying? I believe in why do I want you as an enemy when I can have you as an ally?
And we both can win.
And we both could win.
Yeah.
And instead of let's use each other as a springboard. Let's not just use each other.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's use each other, yes, but let's
Mhm.
not use each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Makes so much
That's
sense.
just the fact, like you said, of having that conversation. Like
Absolutely.
you said, instead of one thing I always talk with Tiffany about as far as we make assumptions, and our assumptions are based on the way we think.
Absolutely.
But if you don't go to that source and have that conversation, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's easy just for me
Yeah.
to speak it, but it's a challenge to go to that person and be like, hey, let's talk about this.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I believe that. And that's why I say, like, people don't realize how big conversations are sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, a simple conversation could go a long way. A simple conversation could save a life. A simple conversation could change the trajectory of the future. A simple
can.
conversation could stop a war.
Mhm.
A simple conversation could save your life.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? That's how big a conversation could be, but we never really look at it like that.
Yeah.
We never really take heed to that.
Yeah. Words are power. Communication is power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good
Absolutely.
day.
So where do you see yourself at the end of 2024? What would you like where would you like John to be?
That leads me into something.
Where do I see myself at the end of 22? Listen, I honestly can't tell you because in the past 2 years, I've done so much that, now when I finally stop to look,
Mhm.
like, wow, I done came a long way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now I realize that it ain't really no limits. You put the limits on yourself.
Man. Great.
Yeah, I'm telling you. We talked about that.
That's why I did.
Like, it ain't really.
Right.
Yeah,
You put those limits on yourself.
Yeah.
True.
you
There's
do.
no limit.
So I'm not really big on putting limits on myself.
I like that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Because if I tell you I'm going to be somewhere, I may be somewhere past that.
Past
So
it.
you see what I'm saying?
Leave it open.
Exactly. So
So with that, it kind of a segue into the question I want to ask
Mhm.
when you said, Joy,
Mhm.
with 2024, are there any plans as far as things you have on the schedule to do
Mhm.
for this year or anything coming up soon?
okay, so of course my Unity program is new.
Okay.
So I just started it a couple months ago. So I
Ah.
really do. So to answer that question, I
Yeah.
see that being big.
Okay.
I do. I see
Okay.
my program becoming something that the community really needs.
Mm.
And I see Mud Brothers being a lot bigger than what it was.
Mhm.
On 420 this year, I have a Peace Fest. I'm trying to bring out the entire city. I'm trying to, promote peace
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
on 420. So we're going to have comedians. We're going to have
Okay.
performers. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have, and of course, I want you guys there.
Yeah. And look,
Yeah.
make sure, remind us so we can make sure we promote it on here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe
You-
even
make them
like
know.
an on-site type of thing.
interview type
Exactly.
of style.
You see what I'm
That'd be
saying?
awesome.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. When you put on that kickball event,
Well, see, it wasn't me. I was just a part. I was a part of the event.
So
It
what
wasn't
was it?
my event
Kickball
per se,
event?
but I was a big part of the.
right? Because that's how I got the.
Right.
the
I was
the
a big
information.
part,
Mhm.
but
so it was a collaboration.
So it was a collaboration effort. But yes, it was two young ladies that put that on.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking about reaching back out to them and seeing if
y'all
we could.
gotta do
Man,
it.
that thing
I
was
think I
sweet.
hurt myself so bad.
We had fun though. We had a lot of fun. She came out, she played with us and
That's what's
everything.
up.
Yeah.
But you hurt yourself.
Well, I was like calling
Competitive.
She was diving on the ground. It was, listen, that competitive spirit came out like, oh man, I didn't even know you were that competitive.
Right.
Listen, I found that out that day. I was seeing for a rude awakening.
I was everywhere.
I was too.
Yeah, you was too. We like had dirt all, like we always like all dirty and shit.
Hey, we had a ball though.
My
like
4-year-old
that.
ass.
Hey, that's dope though.
Yeah,
You were moving.
yes,
You were
yes.
moving.
I
So
was.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing. To
It
be
was-
40 and move like that. Because listen,
Some people come move, some people
you see what I'm saying?
run.
Wait a what? They were running in place.
They didn't realize that they ain't had no movement.
They thought they was moving, but it just didn't happen.
And that's what I noticed is like the times that I fail is because I was sprinting,
Right.
and those are different muscles that you use when you sprint.
And your
And
body
so-
like, what you doing?
I just straight took a tumble and
Hey,
had to
listen.
get back up.
They kept going though. And listen, she kept going.
All right.
And that's my motto. Keep going.
Exactly.
That is my motto. Keep going.
I was like, oh, that muscle didn't work like that. It
I just-
moved me up.
I had the soap and I was in the bed for about 3 days.
Yes. I was so sore.
Yeah.
I was so sore.
Yeah.
I learned a lesson that day.
Hey, listen.
You got to practice. You got to we can't just
You
come
gotta
out.
prep
and
for
we
this.
Just jump right in.
Right. Hey, listen, it showed me something that I was moving, but afterwards I was.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
felt it afterwards.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
back to, okay, so this year I'm trying to put together a basketball game right now.
Okay.
But with the basketball game is I want to take different nonprofits and different organizations that's doing the type of work I do and get them to make a team and
Got it.
and play against them.
I like
see what
that.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just about to say. So each group, nonprofit group,
Right.
is
They have
yeah.
that, but I want the players to be working for or part of this nonprofit. You
Ah,
don't
that's
create
even-
your team. I want those players to be.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I want to do that.
That'll be fun.
I took on a new endeavor. I'm a basketball coach now. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's up.
Excuse me. What team?
so I'm teaching in High Point at the Salvation. I mean, coaching, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm coaching in High Point at the Salvation Army.
Okay.
Ah,
So practice starts Monday.
What world?
Yeah.
I mean, wait a minute. Is it only one Salvation Army? And
I'm not sure. The one right by the highway.
okay.
You know
I
what?
know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So yeah,
Okay,
there.
okay.
So yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's something I've never done.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
this
so,
is
so this your first time?
yes.
doing the-
Yeah.
So it's a
What's
challenge.
the ages that you're coaching?
I think I'm gonna be doing the 10 through 12-year-olds.
Okay, not too bad when you think about
Right.
the minds
Right,
of
right.
that age.
So,
they'll
yeah.
listen.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. It's a challenge for me because I've never done it. So
And like if someone wanted to reach out to Mud Brothers, or even Gate City Coalition, how would they contact?
So
them?
Gate City Coalition has a Facebook page. Mud Brothers does as well. But if anybody wants to reach out to me personally, you can email me at JAWOWOL. Excuse me. JAWOLOWO.GCC@gmail.com.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
I had a question. I know you was getting information, but this is going back again.
Okay.
I had stuff written down as we were talking.
Okay.
But you, with all the time,
I'm
because
gonna take a sip of that.
is it, yeah,
Like it ain't
yeah, nah, yeah.
a lot
So
more.
It's drink champ. Okay.
Yeah.
look, bring the bottle out here. Let me get this happen. We about to get personal.
Right.
But this is actually a question that's more of your personal life, as far as because you working in the community, that's time consuming.
Absolutely.
So with that, how is that impacting your personal life and with your family?
Man, I gotta be Superman.
Yeah,
Cause I still gotta, be at home.
yeah. Like they
You know?
they still need that time from you.
Absolutely.
as
I got a
well as-
fiance. So
Yeah.
we planning a wedding right now. So
Man, congratulations.
I appreciate
That's
it.
nice.
So
Yeah.
I have to I still have to be there. So I still make time for home,
Okay.
but I be tired. So now, you know,
Yeah.
and then like I got 6 kids, but my 4-year-old boy, she wants all my time.
I
Yeah.
bet
You know,
that's the
so-
baby. Yeah.
She wants all of it. She not trying to share either. So
Daddy's girl.
absolutely.
Take-
Wholeheartedly. Man.
And see, and the reason I added to give you like the premise of it was the football player. What's the football? Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Big in the community, activist and those things. His kids always talked about how they didn't understand him being away so much until they got older.
Right.
They were more of missing, you know, him. And he talked about how it was hard for him to juggle
It gets hard.
all that he was doing out there in the
Yeah,
community
it does.
and still trying to be home and be a father and give them, because he said what you said, he was like he would be tired. And they got this energy, and they kids, they want to play, they want to
Man,
jump
listen.
on you, they want to do this and that, and he's tired. He just and been on the road for a month talking and doing interventions with all these communities.
Absolutely. I mean, it does, because it's very time consuming. We don't realize how much time it takes away.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, my thing is I'm glad that, so I have 3 children that are 20, 18, and 16. So those ones, you know,
Yeah.
they okay, you know, but the younger ones is more, you know, they want
that
more
time.
attention.
They
You know
on
what I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah.
And the 20 and the 18 and 16-year-old, they don't really, they want time, but it's not as demanding. You see what I'm saying? Because they're more off trying to do their own thing.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? They're trying to find their self
Yeah.
and become whatever they're trying to become.
Mm.
You know, so yes. So with the younger ones, yeah, that time, man, it's important. So I try to juggle it, but does it get hectic? Of course.
Yeah. I
Like,
commend you on it because I
Some-
know it's a lot.
And sometimes I know when I was launching Paper to Film and mine was the little ones, I would bring them with me because I felt like it's important for you to see what mommy is doing
Yeah.
outside of being at the house.
Yeah.
And so if you could kind of, I mean, and it's hard when you because they'd be so
Listen.
not interested in
Listen.
what you're doing.
but a lot of times you will see.
Hey, sit there and color.
Right.
And it's because mama is helping the community, and I
Right.
need you to see what it's all about to give back to the community.
But you can't blame them because they don't understand.
They don't understand.
You know
They
what I'm
understand,
saying?
but they remember.
Absolutely.
And that's
So what about
that's the part.
Your older ones who know what you're doing, how do they?
I
Yeah.
think they're genuinely proud.
Yeah.
You know, I think they
Yeah.
genuinely love what I do, you know. So they understand a little bit more.
Yeah.
But even with them, I try to make sure, you know, I try to at least make sure I talk to them, you know, I communicate with them
right.
because that's important.
Yeah.
Even though they're out trying to do their own thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I try not to get in the way of that. I try to let them try to, you know, go about life and learn it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not doing anything to harm yourself or harm anyone, you know, I try to let you figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm always here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you're 20 or you're 18 don't mean I'm going to take my hands off. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm not going to push you out there into the world. I'm still going to, you know, just like training wheels until they're ready.
Right.
You don't take them off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's good.
Like that.
And then going to, and again, congratulations on with your fiance being engaged.
Thank you.
How is she with all your work that you're doing?
The laughter.
That sounds because
And I haven't drank.
yeah, because
That's fun, you know.
because being a man,
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's
And so
a
you're
lot. It's a
true
lot.
to
It's
it.
a lot.
No, so she's very understanding.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. Like,
Because she came on board with
and
this is who
exactly.
you are.
that's why
Yeah.
just because she already knew what you was, you know,
No,
doing and everything.
like at first she, you know, but she gets it now. Like she
Yeah.
understands it. Like I get
That's
it.
what's up.
What you're doing is a greater cause, so I'm going to support you. However, if
That's
you're
beautiful.
tired,
Yeah.
you know, she'll run my bath. She'll make
Yeah.
sure I'm okay. Make sure I eat.
I
She'll
love
cater
that.
to
That's
me.
right.
You see what I'm saying? So she makes sure I'm comfortable, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say anything bad. You know what I mean? Because she does. She steps in and helps me. Whatever she'll roll her sleeves up, do what she got to do. If I got an event, she'll be the caterer, the photographer, all of that. You know, so
Great job, young lady.
so she, you know, I love it.
I love that for you.
You know,
Yeah,
like I said,
and she's trying to get her own thing going. So like I told her, I said, sometimes, you know, you're going to be off doing your own thing. I'm going to be off doing mine. We have to, you know, make sure we understand that. I have to be cool with that because she's into the event planning.
Yeah.
But it falls right in line with what I
you're
do.
doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Cookies Creation.
Oh, that's the name.
Yeah.
I like it.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
That's her name, Cookie?
Yeah. They call her Cookie. Her real name's Courtney.
Courtney. Shout out to Courtney.
Yes, and Cookies Creation.
And
yeah,
Cookies Creation.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that you have, it sounds like you have a work-life balance.
I try to balance as much as
you
I can.
That's all I can do.
Right.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
That's it.
But the support is there. Like even back when, before you get into all of that, you had a support system. Then you know, in prison, then coming out, you still got, like, I think that's like it just shows that you are on the path you're supposed to be on. Like you said, you don't know what's behind the next door. Right. You don't know what's going to happen next year or tomorrow, but you know you're following your heart. You just
absolutely. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's
what else
all
can you do? Yeah.
That's it. You know?
Anytime, I think it's important to know that if you feel like it is a strain between the two, to understand that the family outweighs everything else that you do, because that is your legacy, and that is, you want them to be mentally and spiritually together so they can be their best self.
Yeah.
So you know to take some time off from, you know, your works in the community, and that's okay. You know, sometimes people get so wrapped up into their work and feel like the family is the secondary priority, when that is an illusion. It's your family and then the work.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And we do get caught up sometimes because we be so headstrong into our work. But
absolutely. I mean, it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just gotta try to figure it out. You have to maneuver with whatever comes. Like
right. And I think because of your background with your family, and like Martin was saying, the support that you had when you was in the trenches.
Right.
I know it came from your family support, you know? Right. Yeah. So it's just family is so important. It's so important to support and balance it all. But
absolutely.
I think you're doing a great job.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I guess I learned how to juggle a little bit. So, you know.
Yeah.
Everything I heard today, like, you killing it. You killing it. Like,
yeah, I'm telling you, it is amazing. I'm loving the social media era, because that's how I keep my eyes on you.
Right.
It's really through Facebook, and then me having that connection with someone that's a part of Gate City Coalition. You know, I kind of see what's going on, and when I seen that you was kind of a part of everything, I don't know. I was just like, I just want to make sure he's okay.
Right. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Let me make sure, because I know how it can get when you are in the community. You could kind of burn out sometimes, and
it happens.
Yeah,
it definitely happens.
And feel like you're not being appreciated and things of that nature.
Because sometimes you just got to take a mental health day. You know what I'm saying? Because you got
years.
Because you just. But you're giving and giving, like all that energy.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Absolutely. You know, but it happens. She said, yeah.
My man said, take a mental health day. He said, yeah.
You're what I tell you.
Years? Goodness, what you right? Yeah, but sometimes you don't take a year. Right? You don't have to stay here. No. But if you have to, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to do what's gonna keep you intact. You don't want to lose yourself doing whatever you're doing.
You can lose yourself.
You can. It can easily happen. You can spiral out of control from too much pressure. You know what I'm saying?
It's the pressure.
You could. The pressure becomes that heavy pressure, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say sometimes you got to take a day or 2 or 3 or 15 or 360. Right.
Yeah.
But you have to sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
because you know
because
what? Community is going to be there when you get back. Needs
absolutely.
are going to be there when you get back. It is a never ending cycle of being better, getting better, helping
Right.
community get better.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be there. Yeah. Yeah.
And okay. I know we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we're gonna have to bring you back. There's so much more to discuss with it. One thing I want you to know, I want to get into once we do bring you back is
Right.
the families of the kids you're working with.
Right.
Like, how is that? Like, so we don't gotta get into it now.
Right.
But yeah. Because
Okay.
I'm sure kids are a reflection of the parents.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
you're dealing with the child,
Absolutely.
and your time with the child is limited, and then they go back into that environment
Yeah.
that's raising them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like
Sometimes it can
that
be a
cycle.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to dig into it now. But
Yeah.
that's one of the things I wanted to, because
Absolutely.
I think that's a long conversation.
It is. And then also we do have a storytelling session. And then basically that's about your life, your upbringing.
Oh, really?
And where you,
Okay.
yeah, I wanted to say that too, because I mean, if you are open to share about, you know, how you landed in the situation of being incarcerated,
Mhm.
that is still an open platform. We have had other guests up here kind of share like their life story of how they got to where they are now.
Mhm.
And like I said before, that's our storytelling session.
Okay. I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay. All right.
Right.
But I just appreciate you coming by. I want you to stay a little bit longer after the camera shut down because I did tell you I wanted to see if we could
Absolutely.
schedule something on the books to
Okay.
assist you in whatever endeavors that you have
Very
I
much.
definitely
going
appreciate
on.
that.
Because we appreciate your service, like I said before.
I appreciate y'all.
Oh, thank you. And I'm gonna let you wrap it up.
All right. As always, we're in Flux Studio in the basement with the engineer of the last 2.5 decades, Kurt, is in the building.
Salute the Kurt, man. Salute the
You just
Kurt.
had to do it for the year. I tried to evolve from that, but I just
She
like
did that, what was it, 2022 or
yeah,
2021?
for the first time.
Yeah, he did that, but it sounded like, you know, the music from porno
No, that's
flicks.
when I went.
I was like, what?
That's when
I was like, what is it?
I went. Uncle Chicken, why?
Yeah, that's what she did. I was like, what is that? I was like, has Kurt been in some films that I just don't know? And Kurt didn't say nothing, so I was like, I don't know.
I don't know why that came. I meant to say bum bum bum, but it came out Uncle Chicken. Wow, wow, it
Yeah.
was a mistake.
Straight 1970 flick right there. But
Yeah, we appreciate Plug
as
Studio.
always, yeah. And we're on every social media outlet, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and so on. So check us out. And broadbeltspeak03@gmail.com. Any questions, suggestions, or comments?
Peace.
Peace.
We are.
That was good. Yeah. And let me get it, because we got to get you, so we always get the guests to sign.
Sign the table. You have to sign the table, and I got to record it.